Let's hopefully I have sound now. Um hopefully I have sound on. Let's test it out. You just never know. All right, here we go. So let me give my little introduction again. It's Wednesday at on November the 12th at 6:30 in the morning. Every Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning, I go live on YouTube to talk about self-care at work. I'm Belinda Harris, your HR expert and self-care at work advocate. And this is a safe space for stressed out workers. And if you're here watching this live, I'm so glad that you're choosing your self-care at 6:30 in the morning. And if you're watching it on repeat, I am also glad that you are watching it to get your self-care at work. And today we're going to dive in deep into the topic that causes more anxiety than any other. What topic do you think that is? That causes more anxiety than any other. And that's the toxic boss. See, it's not just a bad day with the boss, right? It's not just a bad day. Oh, that was a bad day. It's the constant disrespect, the emails in all types of night and early in the morning, the shifting goalposts, right? Where they're constantly changing how you meet the goal, constantly. You never can get there because it's always moving. Or the feeling that you can never, ever quite please them. And if you've ever felt dread just opening your computer, well, then this is a session for you. And I want to share something important that this December 5th, I will celebrate 20 years working in human resources. That means I've spent 2 decades behind the scenes watching these dynamics play out. I know exactly how difficult managers operate. And more importantly, I know the professional HR approved language that you need to shut those behaviors down without escalating the conflict or risking your job. So I'm going to give you three, excuse me, I'm going to give you three HR backed boundary scripts, word for word. Okay, so word for word phrases that you can start using today to handle unrealistic demands, to defend your personal time, and to take back your peace. And this is your toolkit to manage up. You ever heard of that? You have to manage up, meaning you have to manage your supervisor. This is that toolkit that you are getting ready to get. And if you're ready to take back control, let's do it. See, the first thing I want to start with is, what is a boundary in the workplace? See, it's not a threat. Boundaries aren't threats. I'm going to put a boundary. It's not a threat. It's a calm, clear statement of your expectations for professional interactions. See, as an HR professional, I can assure you that setting reasonable boundaries is a sign of maturity and competence. A professional boss respects this. A toxic one now will test it. But we're going to make our boundaries clear and professional. The biggest mistake, though, I see with stressed out workers is that it makes in responding emotional or passively, which invites more bad behavior. And we're going to replace emotion with professional clarity. And I'm going to give you three phrases, and I want you to write these down so that you can have them. And I want you to rehearse them so that you are ready and you are designed to put your boss in a position where they have to be reasonable. 3 phrases. The very first phrase, it is to the prioritization deflection, right? And that is when a boss dumps too much work on you or gives you an urgent, unrealistic deadline for a new task. That's what this phrase, the first phrase we're going to talk about, the first HR approved phrase. It is when a boss comes and they're trying to dump all of these urgent, because it's got to be urgent, unrealistic deadlines for a new task. Never mind the task you're already doing, but a new task this is urgent. Here's the script that you can say, and I want you to write it down. I'm going to repeat it a couple times so that you have it down. And that is, that new project sounds important, and I'm happy to take it on. To do it well by whatever the new deadline is, which one of my current priorities, project A or project B, you want to name them, would you like me to put on hold for now? I'm going to repeat that again. When your boss comes, when your toxic boss comes with yet another unrealistic, urgent new task, that's a deadline that's unrealistic, the script, that new project, that new task or project sounds important, and I am happy to take it on. To do it well, though, by whatever deadline they give you, which of the current duties or priorities would you like me to put on hold for now? Because currently I'm working on A, B, C, D, and E. Which one of these do you want me to put to the back burner so I can work on this new project to meet the deadline? Why it works. You are not saying no. You're not saying, no, I'm not going to take that on. You're not. You're simply forcing the manager to confront the reality of the workload. This shifts the burden of resource allocation from you to them, right? It's professional, solution-oriented, and documents their decision to sacrifice a prior task. It puts the ball in their court. You're not being confrontational. You're not saying no. You're more than happy to do it. You're asking, how can you do it? Which one of these do you put aside? And you let them pick which priority that needs to be sacrificed. That's phrase 1. Phrase 2 is the after hours time defense. And that's when a toxic boss constantly, not once in a while, not every now and then, but constantly emails or calls or texts you outside of your work hours, violating your personal time. Now, I'm going to go back to, I don't really count emails because for the most part, if you're off, you don't have to check your emails. But it's hard to, if they call or text, like you get that immediately. But an email, you have to go and open your email. So an after hours call or text outside of your work hours, violating your personal time. This is what this phrase is for. And what you want to say, thanks for sending this over last night, right? With the text. I flagged it for review. And first thing this morning, I will follow up with you by a particular time. Thanks for sending this over. I received it. I flagged it for review for, let's say, maybe they sent it on a Saturday, for Monday morning. And I will follow it with you by, and you give a time. Why this works. You are training your boss on when you are available. You acknowledge the communication that you've received it, so they can't say that you ignored the call or text, but you firmly establish your response time is during business hours. For calls or texts, you can say once, I focus on work during business hours. I'm happy to address this at 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whenever your workday starts, then stick to it. Consistency is key. Now, again, this is when they constantly, once in a while or once out of a blue moon, you kind of give people a passes. You don't have to, but for the most part, because like this must be important because they never call me during this time. But if they always call you, that's where it's constant. That's where it's like, no, there's no boundary here. The third phrase, and this is the conduct correction. That's what this phrase is. The conduct correction is when a toxic boss is aggressive, yelling, or unprofessional in a meeting or one-on-one, making it hard to think. And what you say here's the script that you want to say. I want to make sure I fully understand your directive on whatever the project is, whatever the thing is. But I'm having trouble focusing on the content when the delivery feels, and you could insert the word, disruptive, rude, elevated, whatever word you want to put there. Can we pause for 1 minute and reset? Or should we continue the discussion when we both have a clear moment? I'm going to repeat it. I want to make sure I fully understand your directive on whatever the thing we're talking about. But I'm having trouble focusing or concentrating on the content when the delivery feels so negative, aggressive, whatever words you want to put there. Then you say, can we pause for 1 minute and reset? Or maybe we can continue this discussion when we both have a clear moment. And why this works. This is the most powerful and professional correction because you are using the language of performance. You are not saying you made me feel bad. You're saying your behavior is negatively impacting my ability to understand and execute your instructions. This reframes the problem as a business performance issue, not a personal conflict, which is safer and more defensible from an HR perspective. Now we've kind of went deep today. We've covered 3 heavy hitting phrases. Which one are you going to use in your toolbook? Which one are you going to use and that you're going to put in your toolkit today? The prioritization deflection, the time defense, or the conduct correction? I want you to remember that you take these tools and you use them as needed, whether to prioritize, protect, and correct. You now have the professional scripts that you need. If this session gave you the exact words you needed to finally set that boundary, I have one ask, and that's hit that subscribe button right now. My goal is to grow this safe space to 100,000 subscribers because every single stressed worker deserves these tools. When you subscribe, you help me reach more people who need these HR-backed survival guides. I want to thank you for coming on the live today, or maybe watching on repeat. Every Wednesday, I go live at 6:30 in the morning to talk about self-care at work, some form of self-care at work. This channel is a safe space for stressed out workers. I'm actually growing a community. I'm starting a community where we talk even more about these type of topics, and I provide resources. If that's something that you're interested in, the information will be in the description. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next video.